And that is as far as it's allowed to go. Because the next step would be for the proteases to come and chop it up. That part is big stuff. So you are making protein. Eventually, you are making protein eventually, but you're not finishing the process.
Okay.
So you're making protein, you're not making new viruses.
Sorry, did I hear right that you said the protease is produced by the host cell?
The what?
The host cell?
Yes.
So,
It's produced by the host cell because the host cell is what's doing the transcribing and the translating.
it's being worked by the virus.
But it's using the viral DNA to give the instructions. So the viral DNA is saying, okay, go make these proteases. Yeah.
That would convince any virus?
Yeah, actually, oh, I mean, the protease inhibitors?
Yeah.
No. See, that's the sad thing. I mean, in theory, this concept should work for any virus. I think it's absolutely a brilliant piece of work. I think these guys should get a Nobel Prize. I have a Nobel Prize. These guys should get a Nobel Prize for this. I don't think they have yet. But in theory, this concept should work for any virus because this kind of thing is how they all operate. The problem is, though, that the exact proteins being made are different, and therefore the exact proteases being made are different. And you'd have to get a whole new cocktail for every single virus. And in theory, it can be done, because now they know how. In practice, it would take billions and billions of dollars, lots and lots of time. That stuff is out there for HIV. It's not really out there for the common cold or for flu. Essentially,
Just like work our way down the hierarchy.
well, in theory, maybe you'll be around long enough that they'll do that. But in theory, yes. In practice, I don't know if they're even trying right now. It's just not important enough to cure the common cold. We all wish they would, but they're really working on the symptoms, not on the cause of colds.
So when you start taking it, if the virus has a code for making these proteins, the protease has a code for enzymes, right? Specific thing. When you start taking, did they have them start taking it when they were sick or right away when they were diagnosed?
Well, good, very good question. I'm going to give you two answers. His question is, I'll rephrase. His question is, when do you start taking the drugs? Do you take them when you start getting sick, or you start taking them right away? It used to be, when they first started doing this, that they waited until you showed the symptoms, and then they started giving them to you. After a while, I don't know why, but after a while, they changed their minds, and they started giving it to the people right away, as soon as they were infected. That seems to be more effective. Now, why they decided originally to wait until you started getting sick to do this, I don't know. But, so nowadays, they just give it to you right away.
But if you're infected, that doesn't necessarily, it could be asleep.
Like,
Oh,
yeah, we
yes.
said for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But
Thing, and so we have 5 more of these now, and so we're going to start with this one.
Mark, so this information goes behind
That's viruses.
under stage 5. This is part of stage 5.
Actually, part of stage 4.
It's part of stage
Yeah, because that's the eclipse period
5. Okay.
and the maturation.
Maturation.
When you're
Okay.
normally trying to assemble into the new virus.
Okay.
But see, this is part of the assembly, except now it cannot assemble.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
maturation
All right.
or non-maturation.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, so we have 5 now of these. There are actually 5 different chapters, but obviously you're not going to do 5 chapters in a week. So what I've actually done is I've taken bits and pieces of 5 chapters. Now, I've been saying all quarter, of course, whatever we cover in class, read the book, read the book. For this, don't bother, because I'm jumping all over the place. So for these last 5 sections, just go ahead and use my notes. That'll be all right. But through viruses, read the book. Okay, so this is disease now, and despite the bitching I was getting when I came in about too many bacteria, too many diseases, got some more here. Humans have 10 to the 13th cells, but 10 to the 14th bacteria. I have no idea who counted those. But 10 to the 13th, 10 to the 14th bacteria. Do some quick math. How many bacteria per cell? Okay, I will show you. We're trying to get bacteria per cell, bacteria per cell. Well, so you have 10 to the 14th bacteria divided by 10 to the 13th cells. And the way you do that when you have exponents, this will not be on the test, this is just information. You subtract the exponents. You subtract the exponents. So 14 minus 13, of course, gives you 10 to the first, or 10. So 10 to the 13th cell, 10 to the 14th bacteria, essentially 10 bacteria per cell. I doubt very much if it's that precise, but it gives you an idea. So many of these are just normal bacteria. The phrase there is microbiota. I usually say microorganisms, but it's the same. Microbiota, microorganisms. Now those would be just stuff living inside of us. So, E. coli, for example, or some of the other bacteria, the Enterobacteriaceae. So living in us. Some are transient, which means they pass through. So, bacteria in the air, in the food and water, things that come in, things that go out. So some are normally living inside, some are just passing through. Sometimes normal bacteria don't themselves do anything, but they prevent other bacteria from growing. In other words, competition. If there's some bacteria already in place, it's hard to get new bacteria in. So competition is one reason. But another reason is particularly important in the vagina. We talked about this last week. The normal pH is acid, around 4. Orange juice is around 4.5. So essentially, it's not the same acidity as citric acid. Do you remember what bacteria does that? Okay, I won't ask that question on the test. Lactobacillus. What? Lactobacillus. So yeah, lactobacillus does that, producing lactic acid, causing acidity, and preventing other bacteria from growing. It also prevents yeast infections. Every so often, your normal bacteria are gotten rid of. Now the culprit often is you're sick with something else. You're taking antibiotics. And the antibiotics might help you with whatever you're sick with. It also might get rid of the lactobacillus, which means you don't have protection anymore. It's not acid anymore. So you might get maybe bacterial infections, but after all, you just had antibiotics. In all likelihood, get a yeast infection, Candida albicans. And that's because you've lost your bacteria. Believe it or not, another possible reason, excessive cleansing. And that would be surprising because you would think, how can you clean yourself too much? I mean, how would that be possible? But yeah, you can. It's not likely. The more likely cause is antibiotic, as you can say. So that's a case where a bacteria already present can prevent other bacteria from growing, or yeast. Relationships, in most cases, when microorganisms are living with us, is symbiosis. And you've heard the phrase before, symbiosis is two organisms living together as one. And it's in a form called commensalism. It turns out, and you may not know this, it turns out there are 3 different types of symbiosis. Commensalism is when one member benefits and the other does not. The other one's not hurt, but it's not helped either. It just doesn't care. So one member benefits, the other guy just doesn't care. So 2 organisms are living together, only one side benefits. Parasitism, this is number 2. Well, it's a parasite. One member benefits, the other member is actually harmed. So the example there would be tapeworm. There's lots of parasites. Now remember what I said to you the other day about that. A good parasite does not kill the host. If the host dies, so does the parasite. So a good parasite will take what it needs from the host, but it won't kill the host. And finally, the one you probably heard of the most, mutualism. Mutualism is when both sides benefit. So you've got the commensalism, one member benefits, the other doesn't care, neutral. Parasitism, one member benefits, the other is actually harmed. And mutualism, when both sides benefit. You've got to have at least one benefit, otherwise, why do it? So at least one benefits. The only question is, what's the other one doing, the other organism? So mutualism, best example, E. coli. In the intestine. It's mutualistic because the bacteria is receiving nutrients from the intestines, and also the bacteria itself makes vitamin K, which is used for blood clotting. So that's mutualistic. Both sides are benefiting. We've done another mutualistic organism. Can you think of what it was? Did it recently. Think of something we've talked about in class that involved two organisms, mutualistic.
Nitrogen.
Perfect. Nitrogen fixing. That's exactly what it is. Nitrogen fixing. The nitrogen fixing bacteria are living mostly in the roots of plants. So obviously giving nitrogen, nitrates to the plants, and the bacteria in turn receive carbohydrate, receive glucose from the plants by photosynthesis. Mutualism. Both sides are receiving something. So anyhow, symbiosis everywhere. Oops. Lots of opportunistic organisms. We've talked about that a fair amount the last couple of weeks. Opportunistic organisms do not make a healthy person sick, but if you're already sick, you become more sick. Remember, I don't include just having a cold or the flu in that. You're still healthy, you're just under the weather. So by being sick, I'm talking about a chronic illness of some sort. So you're in a weakened condition. Then you're prone to opportunistic diseases. AIDS, of course, is famous for that. Because AIDS, as you know, attacks the immune system, wipes out the immune system. Of course, then you can get infected with anything. There's no immune system. Diseases are classified according to how they're spread. Any disease going from one host to another is communicable. So colds and flu and measles and that kind of stuff, all communicable. Spread from one host to another. If it spreads easily, it's contagious. Well, I know I always get asked, well, what does that mean, it spreads easily? I don't know. Sometimes you just cannot explain something. I still remember the Supreme Court case where the Supreme Court was trying a pornography